Dear Cecilia, dear Leah, dear colleagues, it's an honor to stand up here in the first session, Women in Thoracic Surgery of the ESTS. So I think that is a major step forward. I have to say, the last time I was on the stage here, that was yesterday when I handed over a prize. There was a little bit more of an audience. And I remember when I was president of the society, the audience was pretty packed. But it is a beginning. It's more than 10 people sitting here, so we are making progress. I see some men, which is a major progress as well. I don't see our president, our current president, but he promised to at least show up at the women's resection because I urged him that he would have to come. Okay, this is the title I was given: From Surgical Residents to Academic Leaders, Challenges and Pathways. It's a challenge to everybody, let me tell you. And you could tell from our president today that he was really nervous when he gave his speech. So becoming a president, becoming a leader is a challenge for everyone. Nobody is born a perfect surgeon. You all know this because you are going through your training. You have to do it every day and every day. And it's the same if you become a leader. Nobody is born a leader, yeah? But it can all be learned. It can all be learned. It is training as well. However, it is still a little bit more difficult as a woman to come to these positions. It is not a pipeline issue. I owe this to my friend Aviva Lee-Peretz, who is the head of the gynecology department at the Boston University. And she is very much into this issue, and we are discussing a lot about it. So in the US, you see that all the degrees in the meantime, by 2016, all the doctoral degrees are earned, 50% are earned by women. What Ai Kobayashi just pointed out, that there is a smaller number of women in Asia. Even in Asia, what I've heard, even in Japan now, almost 50% of the medical students are females. In Germany, we are up to 70%. So there's a discussion going on whether with the boys not having these good exams to actually get into medical school, that there should be some change in order to have more men going into medicine again. So it is, we don't need the advocates for the women in the future anymore, but probably for the men to go into surgery. So even though the number of women, of medical students, of young doctors is increasing, is it that there are equal chances for men and women in surgery? Back in 2008, I conducted a survey among female surgeons of the Professional Board of Surgeons in Germany. So all kinds of surgeons, not only thoracic surgeons, but general surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, whatsoever. So a number of more than 1,000 colleagues answered to this survey. And the question was, equal chances for men and women? No. Why is this so? Because the distribution of workload we were asking for, who is doing the work, who is taking medical history, is talking to the patients, to the relatives, who's all doing this preliminary work, the ladies said mostly, well, this is what we do. So if you look at it, it's some of them is equally distributed, but all the majority of the preliminary work is done by women. Whereas when you look at the other side, talking about who is making all the publications, who is into prestigious activities, or who is doing the work on the committees, this is what mostly men are doing. And this is, I think, part of the problem. If you plan a career, if you want to come forward, you have to be visible. Standing on a stage like this, you all can see me. If you're sitting in the back, I cannot see you. It's really difficult from here because it's very bright, so I would have to do like this to see how many people there are. So in order to make people aware of you, you have to become visible. So, and be not too shy, but step forward if the position is available. I know the frustration of many of my male colleagues, leaders of our field, that they have had women that they thought, wow, this is a good woman, I'm pushing her. But then they offered her a position and she said like, oh no, I don't think I can do this, yeah? And just being too afraid of taking over a position. You are learning on the job. Every time you're doing a new surgical procedure, you're learning on the job. And it's the same if you're doing any kind of other position. So step forward if there is a position available, yeah, look for prestigious jobs and positions, try to get up on the podium. So send in your abstracts in order to have them accepted here. And look for other people who can help you. I know a lot of women that think, oh, I cannot give this work to, or ask someone else to do this work for me. If I, as a chief, would do all the work myself, I would be quite busy. So I'm sort of giving out all the work. And people think, oh, she is trusting me that I can do the work. And this is what you also could do. And the most important is networking. So to come how I planned my career to become chief of a service, I did some courses, leadership management and all this, had a male mentor that helped me during this time, and for more than 16 years now, I'm head of a service of a thoracic department in Berlin. And I thought back in 2006, I would have to give something back to the women that also helped me. So actually we founded FIT, Frauen in Thoraxchirurgie, so females in thoracic surgery or women in thoracic surgery. That was the first step. I remembered that FIT is, first we thought of FACTS, creating FACTS, Female Association of Cardiothoracic Surgeons, but as we are pure thoracic surgeons, so FIT sounded be better. At the same time, or shortly thereafter, because of being the founder of FIT, I was approached, oh, don't you want to represent women in the professional board of surgeons? So I accepted, and I was also promoted to become counselor of this society back in 2007, which brought me up to my position to become president many years ago. So why is change so important? It's no longer the hierarchical system that we are all trained in, but it is more an equal spread of the hierarchy, which I think will come in the future. So networking is really important. This is in October 2006. You can tell I'm still a little younger than that time, but these were the women of the German Society of Thoracic Surgeons at this time. There are, in the meantime, a lot of other women's groups. So it's the working group of women of ESTS. We have the WTS of the American Society. We have the WTS of the Japanese Association for Cardiothoracic Surgery. Then JAWS, the Japanese Association of Women in Surgery. This is the general surgery in Japan, and I pointed out to FIT, and then there, at least in Germany, I know there are a lot of other groups. So it is important to do networking, so I have a couple of pictures here. This was a training course of the ESTS with a lot of great women from Europe. This is during my time of presidency. Cecilia pointed it out already, so she has not gotten any older than she looked on this picture. Then a leadership seminar in Germany. Since 2012, I'm myself giving leadership seminars in order to sort of encourage women to get into leading positions. And I think that is really important. And in the meantime, we have trained more than 120 women, and some of them became leaders in their fields. But yeah, that's good. Then about the Japanese situation, this was at the JETS conference last year in Tokyo. This was the breakfast meeting of JAWS just recently in April in Osaka. And what you can see going back, that the presidents of these societies or international societies think that it's more and more important to actually show that they know that the future is at least partially female. And this is another very nice slide that I got from my friend Aviva, because in the first picture you can see, is that working with the, can you see that? No. So in the first picture, everybody's standing on the same level. On the next one, you help the little guy, excuse me, by getting him two boxes that he can see the same. But the third image shows very nice. You have to sort of get away the barrier in order for everybody to have the same chances. And just to show you how I try to promote a little bit women, so this is Katarzyna Błaszczyk, a resident working with me. She won a prize 2 years ago at a national conference. She was a member of the ESTS team competing yesterday, and we won the Master Cup. Thank you very much.